Today, I'm going to show you how to play riff-based blues based on saxophone styles from the R&B era of the late 40s through the mid 1950s. There's a lot of names for our little instrument. Harmonica, mouth organ, the French harp, and last but not least, the Mississippi saxophone, which I always thought was kind of funny. Until this week when I started thinking much more about it. And the fact is that a lot of the early amplified blues players were actually trying to imitate the sound of the saxophone. Now, in the late 1940s and early 50s, some of the biggest instrumental stars in the music world were saxophone players. Guys like Louis Jordan, Earl Bostic, Sam the Man Taylor. These guys had hit records and they were wailing away on the saxophone, but they weren't really playing jazz. They were playing licks and riffs that were designed to get the crowds that they were playing for excited and get people up and dancing. So this was what was called rhythm and blues. The original rhythm and blues music, which was heavily based on blues, but it had a driving swing beat, like kind of like the shuffle, but more of an overt swing feel. So a lot of the guys who were playing this music were jazz musicians. I mean, everyone was a jazz musician basically back then. And the saxophone players, a lot of them were very capable of playing jazz, but they weren't doing it. They were playing licks. Now, you might notice that what I'm playing sounds bluesy, but it's a little different. The reason why it's different is this is a G harp, and I'm playing in the key of B. It's the key of the second whole blow, the fifth whole blow, and it's minor. And of course, you can play other stuff on it too, Middle Eastern music, because it has a flat second. But here, I'm playing bluesy, jazzy licks because I was fooling around with the harmonica one day and stumbled upon this because I like to experiment with all these different keys. So you can bend down from the flat seventh to the sixth in a way that you can't do if you're playing in cross harp. And also the fifth note. You can bend up from the third to the fifth. Kind of sounds like a trombone, and it imitates a lot of what these sax players did. And what else started happening in the 1950s is guitarists started imitating the sax players too. They wanted a sustained sound on their instruments. And so they were overdriving those tube amps to get the guitar to sustain as well. And then guys like Chuck Berry came around and started playing licks like this, where you bend one string up to where the other one's. And here, in the key of B on the G harp, I'm doing it by bending up the fourth hole overblow to the fifth hole. You can also do it from the fifth hole overblow to the sixth hole blow. So we can imitate saxophone players, guitarists, and also wail away on the high notes. Very convincingly, the eighth hole blow is the tonic of B. And the seventh hole overdraw, it gives you the sixth that you can bend up to the seventh. So there's all sorts of really funky, bluesy, and unexpected things to be found playing this riff-based R&B sax style blues in fifth position. This tune, which I call Boogie and B, has a lot of boogie woogie elements. You can hear it in the piano style. Sometimes they call it jump blues. And remember, this was all dance music. And people moved their bodies to it. They didn't sit in a chair and tap their feet. They got up and danced. So I recorded this backing track, had a lot of fun doing it, playing it on piano, and I put a little bit of organ on it to kind of simulate a horn section. So if you can just imagine as I'm playing that we're in a juke joint and everybody's up and dancing, this is the Boogie and B. I think it's really worth trying to play boogie, swing, R&B, saxophone type blues in fifth position. And I hope some of you take me up on that. All right, take it easy.